Oscar Bevis for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined today via Zoom, all the way from Copenhagen, by Kem Ljungquist. Did I nail that pronunciation?
That's perfect. Thanks, mate.
Nailed it. Kem, thanks for joining me. How's life in Copenhagen? I mean, in the UK, we've been in lockdown for nearly 12 weeks. It's coming towards the end. How's things in Denmark?
Yeah, I think it was about the same time as you guys got the lockdown. We got the lockdown too. So it was the 12th of March, I think. So it's been completely closed down, everything, just a ghost town. But we're getting there again. Like, people are starting to forget there was a coronavirus, but you know, it's been hard for all of us.
Of course, it's been hard because it's put boxing completely off the map.
Completely.
For a solid 2 or 3 months. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. That little roll of the eyes. Let's jump straight into the boxing stuff. You were quite a latecomer, actually, weren't you, when you started boxing?
Yeah. I started boxing when I was 21 years old. So I've not been doing this so many years.
I mean, does that give you an advantage, a disadvantage?
I think maybe I will stay young longer than most of the other guys, but and I'm definitely motivated to stay young and stay healthy, so I can prolong my career as long as I want to. I hope to be fighting until I'm 45. I just want to fight. I'm not finished at all. I'm so motivated, so determined to do great things, and just love the hard work. Just love the hard work and love the fighting.
So how come you sort of got into boxing so late then? Because most people would sort of go to the gym at, I don't know, 10, 11, fall in love with boxing, go through an amateur process and then move into the pro ranks. What were sort of the plans beforehand, and why did you just jump straight into boxing?
I played football when I was a young boy. I've always played sports since I was like 3 years old. I started playing football and just played until I got an injury when I was 14 years old or something. Broke both my shin bones, and I got out of the football rhythm. So when I was about 15 years old, I got to the boxing gym. My friend from my class in primary school, he was like he was boxing and he wanted me to go, and I went a couple of times, but it didn't get me. I didn't get catched. So years went by. I was just living the life of a young man, going out partying with my friends, and the
good life.
Yeah, the good life. Yeah, the good life. So I started doing some Muay Thai, some Thai boxing, and I was really keen on doing that. I wanted to have some fights and stuff, but not long after, I think maybe a half a year, 9 months, the club closed. I was training it closed, right? So then I went back to doing the party lifestyle, just doing my young man's lives. And at some point I was like, I always had the feeling I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to do some sports. I was always keen of doing sport, and when I was 21 years old, we were living in what's it called? We had a week in a summer house, like it was a vacation home, yeah. And some of my friends was talking about, I was always shadow boxing and stuff, doing all kinds of stuff, and also when I was always doing some kind of, I was a real guy, a guy who and one of my friends told me he was a boxer, and that's another friend than the one who took me first time, and he said, here the 1st of August we're starting the boxing up again. Why don't you come and train with us and see if you can have some fights and just And I said, yeah, why not? Because I haven't been doing anything for a long time, so I was like, yeah, let's just start and try and see what's going on and try to. And I got to the gym, and the first 14 days we were just training, and And then I got to the first sparring, and the trainer of the club was sparring me also. He was sparring also. He was a big guy like me. So he did. He punched me in the stomach, like in the liver, a liver punch, and I sat down and I got back up, and he punched me again, and I sat down, I got back up, and since that I was just completely hooked. I didn't want to get knocked down. I just got the feeling that when I'm bad at something, I just determined myself to be great at it. I want to succeed. I'm not good at failing. I don't like to fail. So when somebody is better than me at something, I'm so eager to be the best. So I think it just drove my motivation. And then the people around the club. I was a lost boy, you know. I didn't know anything. I didn't have an education. I was failing at most of the things I was doing. I was failing because I never knew what I was going to do. So I didn't have an education. I wasn't trying to get an education because I didn't know which way to go. So I think the people around the club just took me in and accepted me as just a fighter, not asking me what I was going to do, what I was doing besides fighting. They just wanted me to be a fighter, and the people around me just pushed me, and it made me a better man, you know, just a better man.
Does Denmark need a star? Can you see yourself as being Denmark's star? Because you look at like Mikkel Kessler,
Yeah.
Braidhow. You've got Sauerland in the female game, but does the male game in Denmark need a star? And do you feel like I can be that person?
I think ever since Mikkel Kessler retired, I think there became a gap in Danish boxing, both amateurs and in the pro, because I think when Mikkel was fighting, young people wanted to start doing amateur boxing. Yeah. So I think that after Mikkel retired, it's just been a downhill journey. But we had some good runs. Like some guys on the way up, some guys went down again, but I think that I'm committed to doing the hard work, and I'm fully confident in my own abilities. So I'm not. I hope that I can be the next one to. I'm not keen of. I'm not driven by becoming a star. I'm driven to become the best version of myself, and to make myself happy, and make that, so I can look myself in the mirror and say, you did it. But we'll see someday.
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. I suppose a lot of it now is about you getting the platform, because you know that's so crucial on the way up. You fought on two pretty big shows. You fought on two World Boxing Super Series shows. One of them in Saudi Arabia as well. How do you find that experience? Because we're hearing a lot now that Saudi is going to be where boxing could be going in the Middle East.
But they were big fans, but they didn't know much about boxing. I even think they didn't think it was real. I think it was, they thought it was like wrestling, like WWE. They've been there the year before or something. So I think the people thought the Saudi people thought that it wasn't like real fighting. So but it was a pretty nice place to stay and stuff. But I couldn't because there's a lot of rules and stuff. Because in the malls and stuff, I couldn't have short pants and stuff because I had a lot of tattoos. So there was some rules. I hope they changed the rules so it's a little bit easier for us to get around.
Yeah, I mean that's not even something that crossed my mind. So yeah, because I was saying, like, we're hearing boxing could potentially be moving quite a lot to the Middle East, to Saudi Arabia, Dubai, your Bahrain's. Just before we come on to some other boxing stuff in the heavyweight division, what is it for you now then? I can imagine you're looking perhaps to fight more abroad, so potentially even get into the UK. We know Sauerland have got good connections in the UK, and any heavyweight who's entertaining, and
Yeah.
especially as links to someone like Tyson Fury, the UK fans are going to love.
I definitely want to be to fight around the world. I've just like ever since the amateurs, I've been fighting all of the places where people don't travel, like Azerbaijan and I always like to get new places and see some new things. I've never been fighting in Britain. I've never been fighting in Britain, so I would like to go over there. I would like to go to America. You know, I want to try it all. I want to do it. I want to do it different than many others have done in the Danish stars. I don't want to be known. I want to be known in Denmark, but I'm also eager to be known abroad.
Well, look, hopefully you can be the next big thing in Danish boxing. Let's see where it goes. Who knows? Who knows?
It would be cool to get a new generation of people wanting to start boxing, because mixed martial arts have taken over lots of like I think it has most of the world has mixed martial arts taken a bit over.
Yeah, I mean, with the rise of the UFC, mixed martial arts has become so popular. But I still think in this country, boxing would be more popular. But if MMA is more popular in your country, then let's get boxing back on the map, Kem. Let's have you as the one to put boxing back on the map.
Exactly.
Tyson Fury, like I said to you before, we were going to potentially do a panel with some guys who had sparred Tyson before to give us a little bit of an insight to what it's like just being around Tyson in camp, etc. A lot of guys didn't seem to be sort of up for that. They didn't seem to want to be too open about their experiences. You're more than welcome to, and I know it's something that you don't mind opening up about. So first things first, how did you get into contact with Tyson and know that you could be sparring him for the two camps that you did?
He was fighting. He was having that comeback for after his years of being away from boxing. So he was fighting the guy Pianeta from Germany, and I saw he was a southpaw, and I just gotten pro like the year before I was turning pro, and I thought it would be a good experience to try. And it's a tough world to get in other gyms and fighting, in guys gyms. So I thought it would be a good experience for me to go to Tyson Fury and try to get a beating, get the feeling of going against the greatest boxer maybe for the last long period, right? So I called I can't remember if I think I called Nisse. I wrote to Nisse about he could get me in the camp, and I think a couple of days later I traveled. I just took off, got to Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, volunteering yourself is obviously a good place to start. You sort of imagine that someone like Fury would be picking his sparring partners very wisely.
Yeah.
I mean, so you volunteered yourself. You went over to Manchester, and how many rounds did you do, and sort of what did you learn and take away from Fury?
I think I did maybe 15 rounds or something. I was like there for 1 week. We did 15 rounds or something, and just we had me and some other guys just sparring. We did some rounds in a circuit, just one guy in. But he was amazing. Just thinking of him coming from a layover like a couple of years where he hasn't been fighting and training and gaining so much weight. He was an amazing fighter. Just amazing he could move like that. It was just a privilege to be in the same ring as him. First time I traded gloves with him, like in the ring, I was just thinking about like so few years from me watching him in television, becoming a world champion against Klitschko, while I was fighting for my I think it was my first Danish national title or second Danish national title. I was in the evening he was fighting Klitschko and became world champion, and I was so few years later I was the standing in the middle of the ring with him. So it was just such a privilege to be around him. It's an experience I want to remember when I'm getting older. Like it's something I will never forget, that feeling.
Did you feel power when Fury was landing gloves on you?
I think when in this weight class, in the weight division, it's everybody punches hard. But I think I definitely think he's a great puncher. But I'm not always sure he's trying to be a big puncher. He's a great mover, and I think the combination of the great movements and his fast hands it's just a combination that when it hits you, it feels very, very hard. So I think he's a great puncher. He's definitely a good puncher.
And so we go from here in Manchester to Las Vegas. Did you notice any differences? Obviously, Tyson had been through more camps, got himself in better shape than he was. His shape was getting better as time went on for his comeback. Did you notice that he was better in Vegas when you went out there to spar him?
Was definitely in better shape. He was very good shape, and he's lost a lot of pounds, and I had the feeling that he was more comfortable. He was more relaxed, and looked like he had more what's it called, like just more confident, more relaxing. He seemed like a totally different guy second time.
And how is Fury with his sparring partners? Does he act like a teacher at times? Because obviously the experiences that Fury have had will sort of be much greater than some of the guys that he's sparring with. Did he sort of teach you and help you along the way and give you little tips here and there?
I think most guys could probably imagine that Tyson Fury was in my opinion, he was a very good teacher too. When we were sparring and stuff, he was after sparring, he would tell me some good pointers in my game, what I could do better, and I think that a guy like him to tell me, give me good pointers of how I can be better, and it takes a great person to do like stuff like that. He could be a jerk. He could take worn out gloves and use them against sparring partners and stuff. Like the story I read the story about some guy told that he used worn out boxing gloves in sparring, and I never in Manchester or in Vegas I never saw one worn out boxing glove. Everything was completely new. It was when I read that, I shared it on my Facebook page, and I was like, never have I seen it. Never have I seen it. And why should he? Why should he smash his own hands because he uses old gloves? It doesn't make sense, I just think he was all around good guy to me and to the other sparring partners too. It was never bad, always good. Like what's it called? There was also always a good environment to be around the guys. So.
And it was in Vegas that he rented you the car then.
Yeah, he rented me and the other sparring a car where we could get around in Vegas doing stuff when we were off, and so it was perfect.
I can imagine even just being in Vegas, away from sort of the fact you were sparring Tyson and you were being around him in that environment, just being in Vegas and seeing the MGM, seeing fight posters of fights that are coming in the next few months, seeing all the lights at night. I can imagine even that just gives you sort of feeling that you're like, I have to make it. I really want to make it.
I think that was the most eye-opening thing I have had in my boxing career was when I was in Vegas, because I never had the feeling that I wanted to go to the States. I was just I always felt like when people were traveling to the United States, I was always like, why do you want to go there? It's just just a regular country. But after I went to Vegas and saw the guys around the gym in the top ranked gym, and the guys just it was just so eye-opening because it was everything in their lives, you know. And it's hard to tell somebody when you're training with amateurs and when you're training with amateurs who has a work besides their sport, they have to do work and they have to study and stuff. When you're in Vegas, it's people who living the life of doing boxing, or it's just they don't have anything else. So it's just when you go to training, it's all about training. Afterwards, it's just all about relaxing, just doing. And I like that. I want to have that, also that competitive environment. I think it's crucial for athletes. It's just crucial to get that. Always just be pushed to the limit. So that's also because the reason I want to spar with like people like Tyson, because it's just getting pushed to the absolute limit. Just that feeling just motivates me.
And obviously in this country, massive news. And I'll say this country, this is massive news coming out of the boxing world in general. The last couple of days, we've heard that in principle, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have agreed a deal to fight twice in 2021. There's a lot of hurdles, mandatories, venues, broadcasters, but I think the hard work's done. You've been in with Fury. I can imagine, you know, you would have watched Joshua many times too. How does that go in your mind?
After I saw Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder the last time, it was just that style he had at this fight. I just think that he can war Anthony Joshua out. Like if he puts that pressure on him, because Tyson moves in angles. He does in angles. He never get settled. He punches and moves, and I think that the problem Anthony Joshua has is that he punches and stays. So I think it's gonna be in Tyson Fury's favor, definitely, but boxing world wins. That's the best with those kind of fights. That boxing wins. It's just completely perfect fight, and yeah, just good for boxing.